Right, away from the Champions League final, it was confirmed today Matheus Cunha is a Manchester United player, making that switch from Wolves. United have triggered that £62.5 million release clause. Is this going to be a success or a failure, Gab?
I think there were better options out there. My unease with Cunha is that, we're going to find out, right? Are they signing him to play behind the striker, or are they signing him to be the center forward? I think with that money, you could have gotten somebody else, like, say, Victor Osimhen, and yes, I'm obsessed with him, but who I think would have really addressed the needs in terms of the center forward position, which I think is more of an issue given you still have Bruno and Amad Diallo there, and is roughly the same age. And unlike Matheus Cunha, does not have a history of ill discipline and getting into rows with opponents and teammates and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, he may do well, but I don't love this deal.
I want to talk about what's going on at City, Jules, because there's a couple of players that have been linked to that move to Pep Guardiola's side. Cherki being one of them, and this would be an actual player that you've seen, unlike many others, as to whether or not he is a good move for City.
I think at his age, his value is the fee for him, which is around £35 million, a little bit less than that. But the talent that he has, I think, would be a wonderful signing for Manchester City. I think he would fit this team perfectly. And Lyon is not Man City, or is not a top Premier League club. I get that. But he had to first do it there, and he did it very much so. He did it in Europe, he did it in the league. And that's why City are there. That's why City are negotiating with his people, who are, by the way, Kylian Mbappe's people too. And there's a reason why other clubs in England, like Liverpool, like Chelsea, same in the Bundesliga, Bayer Leverkusen, see him very much as the potential replacement for Florian Wirtz, or Borussia Dortmund, or even PSG last summer, because he's that talented and that good.
Do you know much about him?
I know a lot about him, and I really appreciate the players, and he's a great player, but I think he doesn't fit on the Guardiola system. The guy is, do you remember Atem Ben Arfa?
Yes.
The so much talented midfielder, played for Newcastle, and that's the kind of players where with the ball the guy can do everything. But I don't see him fitting in the Manchester City system, where it's more about passing and blah 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 than turning around and that going forward fast.
He's only vertical, and Pep is just horizontal all the time.
But Doku was like that, but he has to come back, you know. And you had Grealish at first coming from Aston Villa,
ruined him,
and kind of. And I don't see. I mean, Cherki is a great player, but that's maybe the only team I shouldn't go because of the system, of Guardiola's system.
What about Reijnders, Gab?
So, Gianni Reijnders has had a tremendous season for Milan. Had a really good year before that as well. You're getting a guy who's perpetual motion machine, who gets goals, who delivers assists, who's unselfish, who works really hard. I think Milan are going to do the deal if they get Tonali type money for it. I think it might also depend on on the situation with the manager as well. But obviously how Max Allegri feels about him, whether that was a condition in him returning to Milan. But I think he would be a tremendous signing for Manchester City in the midfield, which has obviously gotten older with Gundogan and Bernardo Silva and even Rodri not being young anymore and coming off an ACL.
Does this get you excited, Nedum?
Well, no, because, with Cherki, he can't play for City because he's not vertical enough. That's going to be the issue. And then Reijnders might be a weather issue.
Passive-aggressive,
so many problems.
isn't it, Frank?
That's a little bit. But I like Reijnders. Are you say Reijnders? Reijnders?
Say like
whatever.
That's what I do.
Yeah, I love the players. And he will fit to Manchester City, because I don't want people thinking that I don't like or I hate, as you say, Pep Guardiola. I think, Reijnders will fit perfectly to Manchester City.
Nedum?
No, I'm going to say that these are two really good players coming off of exceptional seasons. I think, as Jules has said there about Cherki, it's like the consistency, because we've seen the talent. And I think that's when you show real growth as a player, when the consistency starts to shine. And yes, if he does come to Man City, he's obviously going to have an eye on himself and thinking that he can fit in there. And he can learn and develop as a player. He's 21 years of age. And then even looking at Reijnders at 26, that's not to an age where you can't sort of adapt and learn new things as well. And I think if City do manage to get him, I think he can continue to improve, continue to grow, and be in a position whereby there is pressure to be winning things every single year. And I think for some of the players that come in at City, they're not always say the biggest names. But from when they come in and they adapt, you look at Akanji, you look at Ake's and people, these guys to go from stride to stride and then start playing some of their best football. So I think if either of those two players come or both, I would not be surprised if they did really well.
Last transfer, Liam Delap to Chelsea. Does that get you excited, Frank?
I am. I don't know what's going to happen. No, I am, because we need a striker. We desperately need a striker. We like the Gunners, We need a striker, and he's a great, great player. Will he fit into it? Hopefully, yes. He had a very good season. But yeah, I'm like Gab. I like Osimhen. I want Osimhen.
Right, to get him instead.
Yeah.
Nedum, Delap obviously from the City Academy.
Yeah, he's done very, very well. I think seeing him come through the academy, he did really well. And then he obviously had to leave City, spent a little spell on loan in the Championship. And in fairness, I thought he was doing okay. But then when the deal came through for him to go to Ipswich to get a chance to go in the Premier League, I thought, well, let's see how he's going to do. Because it's a lot of money. 20 million is a lot of money for a striker that hasn't really tasted that football before. But in fairness to him, he was the guy who led the line so well for Ipswich to where they felt they had hope through probably the first 2/3 of the season. Obviously, that tailed away at the end, but now you're looking at somebody who's part of the conversation around playing for England. And at the age of 22, there's more to come. I think he's had that taste of it. And yes, the pressure of going to a place like Chelsea where there's an expectation you'll be in the Champions League. You should be going for trophies. That will be fresh to him. But I think he's got the potential to be able to do that. And people are buying into that. And yeah, if he does sign for them, I think personally, in terms of how he'd lead the line, I think he'd do it better than someone like a Nicholas Jackson, who isn't necessarily a 9 as such. So yeah, I would think it could potentially be a good deal for Chelsea, but the pressure certainly will be on him.
Did you want to add something, Gab?
No, I just think imagine how much Frank is gonna troll Nedum if Delap turns out to be a success at Chelsea, and you can say, between Delap and Cole Palmer for 70 million, we got two people who end up dominating the Premier League for the next decade. Boy, well done, Pep and Cheeky.
Exactly.
Frank controlled Nedum regardless of that, to be honest. To keep up to date with all the latest transfer news, be sure to check out Transfer Talk over on the website as we keep you up to date with everything that's going on throughout the summer.